What is up, guys? It is me, Xavier, and today we're going to check out the Sonic 3 Sonic 4-pack featuring Sonic, Tails, Knuckles vs. Shadow. I am super excited for this movie, but more specifically the figures, and I'm super happy to have these, so let's check them out. Before we get into the figures, I want to show this little instruction booklet that we got. It just pretty much demonstrates that you got to press the chest of both Shadow and Sonic to access the lights, and to unscrew the back of the figure and add some batteries, I guess, if the batteries die. But enough of this, let's get into the figures, and I think these figures are absolutely fantastic. And in my opinion, these are the greatest Sonic figures of all time. I'm gonna showcase all the figures and do a side-by-side comparison to the Sonic 2 figures. Obviously, we're not gonna do a side-by-side with Shadow because he wasn't in that movie, but we're gonna do that for Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. So we're gonna start with the main event. I know we're all here for Shadow because he's the greatest and he's one of my favorite Sonic characters. I think he's part of everyone's favorite, honestly. And unfortunately, I think he has the worst paint out of all the figures. And what I mean by that is the quality control on the figure. Because unfortunately, there's certain parts where the paint is just chipping and not applied that well, as you can see on the gloves right here, and even on his forearm right over here. It's hard to see, but unfortunately the paint isn't that good, especially in the sneakers. Again, this is probably just my copy, but as you can see right here, that's the screw that I'm talking about right there. You just unscrew that, and that's how you can access the batteries. But overall, the sculpt and detail in this figure is really cool, and I really love the articulation with all these figures. Now, they pretty much all have the same articulation except Knuckles and Tails. We'll get into that later. What I really like about these figures now is the articulated fingers and just the overall ability to kick, punch, and just get better dynamic poses than we would with the standard $10 figures. So I guess we'll go over the articulation now. The head can move side to side, the arms can move up, can move down, you got a bicep swivel, you got a nice, what would you call that, double jointed? Well, maybe singular jointed, I'm not sure. Again, articulated articulated fingers, I said figures, that's funny. Can they swivel? Yep, there you go, the wrist can swivel, and it can go forward, yes it could. It can go back and forth like that, it was a little bit stuck. The legs can kick outward that much. Can it kick back? I can kick out that much. Knees bend, pretty good. Let's see. All right, that's nice. How about the feet? Does it have, oh, look at that. Articulated ankle. I'm assuming it's one of those, oh wait, can it go back and forth? Yes, it could. Okay, so I have the ankle swivel and it can go up and down. That's pretty good. Okay, look at that. Again, we're gonna show the light up feature later in the review. The Sonic figure is very similar to Shadow in terms of articulation and the way it's really sculpted and detailed. The articulation is pretty much the exact same, so I'm not going to go over that with this Sonic figure. But again, he looks pretty cool. I like the sculpted detail and paint that he has, and he also has the see-through spikes throughout his hair. And the same battery department like Shadow. Honestly, there's really not that much to talk about. I really like this head sculpt, but I think I like the head sculpt of the other Sonic figure better. Again, I'll show that later on when I do comparisons, but again, really neat figure. One thing I noticed with Sonic and Shadow is that they don't have the butterfly joints, and I think that's because of the light up feature, because maybe possibly they needed like more space for like the wiring or something, but that's just my theory. I'm not 100% sure. But again, really nothing new with this Sonic figure. All right, time to check out Knuckles, and this is easily the biggest figure in this set. This is actually huge. Now, shout out to my friend Merit Movies for pointing out the fact that they only made the Knuckles figure for this 4-pack. Like, it's not available in the other sets that they made. Because there's only Tails, Eggman, Sonic, and Shadow. So the only way to get Knuckles so far is to get this box set. Unless, you know, they make waves 2 and 3. And I really like this Knuckles figure. The unfortunate thing is, I think it has the same problem as the last one when it comes to the hair. Because even though we still have articulation on the sides and there's like a split right here, the hair still kind of limits it, as you can see. And that also limits head movement. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I think that doesn't really, you know, hinder that much because of how awesome this figure really is. Like, the paint on this is really clean, albeit it's only a little bit of paint. Like, the shoes are really on point. I really like it. It looks super nice. And one thing I really like about these figures is the eyes and how clean the face is painted. Like, these look really, really sick. They kind of remind me of those Mario figures that came out recently. For the articulation of Knuckles, you can't really move the head side to side that much because of the hair. But he has a waist swivel, which I think is nice. You can kind of, oh, look at that. You can move down a lot and look up. So that's really nice. So for the shoulders, you can move up that much. You can move down this much. You could move it up. Oh yeah, there you go. You can move it up. The elbows, let's see. It bends this much. Hope that's, you know, hope you can see that well. Again, articulated fingers, You can move the hand up and down slightly though because of the glove that he has, like the gauntlet right here. Yeah. You can still move it side to side if you want. We'll see the legs. The legs, you can kick out that much. 4, that's pretty good. The knee bends. And what about the feet? Not that much with the feet right here because of the boot cut right here, but it does have a little bit of an ankle swivel. There you go. Again, good articulation, not the greatest because of Knuckles' design. I do wish they found a way to figure out how to make it better, but I do think this is an improvement from the last Knuckles figure. And now it's time for Tails, and I think this figure is being slept on, low key. I think this is a great and massive improvement compared to the last Tails figure we got in Sonic 2. Now for articulation for Tails, you can move side to side like that. He can look up just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. For the arms, oh wait a minute. He has butterfly. Does Knuckles have that? A little bit for Knuckles because the hair is hindered, so I can see that. But yeah, look at that. Tails does indeed have butterfly joints. Wow, I'm surprised. He can move up like that, move forward. How about the elbows? See, the thing about Tails being so tiny, it's like I get anxiety moving the joints because I feel like I might break it, but everything's looking good. Yeah, see, standard articulation like the others, except with Tails and Knuckles, they got butterfly joints. Yeah, Sonic and Shadow don't, but he can kick out that much. Nothing too crazy because of the design. He can bend the knee like that, and I think the feet can move up. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm impressed. Nice. How about a swivel? Yep, the swivel is there too. And we can't forget Tails without his tails. And as you can see, let's zoom in a little bit. They're like these like ball joints right here, and they can move up and down and rotate. That's super awesome. I don't think the last figure can do that. Well, again, we're gonna go over that when we do the comparisons, but I think Tails is a slept-on figure. This is actually really, really cool. And this is all the figures compared to their Sonic 2 equivalent. And I gotta say, these are a massive improvement compared to the figures in Sonic 2. Now, I will admit, I really do like these figures, and at the time, I thought they were really great. But to see the massive improvement with these guys, yeah, it's no contest. The Sonic 3 figures are absolutely better. I think the biggest improvement has to go with Tails because I just think this looks so much better compared to, again, this goofy design. Like, I know they're trying to make it look more happy and whatnot, but this is just so much better. And I really like the articulation with the Tails as well because this was like one solid piece, while this one you can like split apart and even articulate. So I really like the improvement they did with Tails. With Knuckles, it's relatively the same, to be honest. Again, better articulation, of course. Like you have a cut in the thigh right here, and you have the waist cut as well, and a little bit of butterfly joints. It's just a tad bit, nothing too crazy. But I also like how intimidating this one looks because again, like the face is like a little bit goofy, but this one is just so much better. And now with Sonic as well, actually they're not that much different, to be honest. I think the blue is slightly different, but yeah, honestly, this is like a more upscaled version of this figure. Huh, look at that. But speaking of comparisons, I have the other Sonic figure that came out, and essentially there's the same exact figure except some minor articulation differences, like the cut in the stomach right here. I guess you can say the waist swivel. This figure doesn't have that, and this figure doesn't have butterfly joints like this one does, but that's also because of the fact that they needed the extra room, I guess, for the light up feature. But also, one thing I noticed when I bought this figure, I noticed that it had the see-through spikes in the back, and I was very confused at the time because I was like, why does it have that? Because there was no light up feature, but it makes sense because essentially this is the same exact figure, just retooled differently, so I can see that now. Now I turned off all the lights that I have, so that way you guys can see the light up feature between Sonic and Shadow. So we're gonna start with Shadow first. Oh, that looks sick. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yo, even in the back of his hair. Nah, that's amazing. All right, we'll see with Sonic now. Yo, nah, there ain't no way. That's actually phenomenal. I don't know if this translates as well as it does in person, but good lord. What I really like is how bright the lights are. Like, it's not those like really dull looking light up features. No, this is actually really bright. Look at that, bro. That looks sick. Whether you're a kid or an adult, I think you would have fun with this. This is actually really sick. But yeah, guys, I gotta say, I really love these new Sonic figures. I think these are absolutely the best Sonic figures that have ever been made. If this video gets 100 likes, I will make Sonic 3 stop motions using these figures. Again, if you want me to make some awesome Sonic 3 stop motions, make sure this video gets 100 likes. And comment down below which is your favorite Sonic figure from this set. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.